You were never really cut from the same fabric as everyone else, were you? Not back in school, not at work, not even around the people who claim to know you best. There's always been something different about you. Something that made others stare, whisper, or quietly wonder what it is that sets you apart. They called you distant, emotionless, hard to read. But what they never understood is that your silence was never weakness, it was calculation. You've always moved with purpose. You watch before you act. You think deeper, feel stronger, and trust your instinct more than the opinions of a noisy world. While others rush to belong, you wait. You move when it feels right, not when you're told to. That's the Sigma code. Grounded, independent, and unshaken by the chaos that consumes everyone else. But let's be real, walking this path isn't for the faint-hearted. In a world addicted to attention, validation, and constant noise, being different has a price. The Sigma mindset might look powerful from the outside, but it's also lonely, heavy, and misunderstood. So here's the real question, and be honest with yourself. Have you ever felt like your strength is both your armor and your curse? Have you ever wondered why people seem drawn to your mystery but never truly understand it? Or why your calm confidence somehow threatens those who pretend to have it? If so, you already know the truth. You're not ordinary. You're walking a road most people will never be strong enough to take. These are the 7 dark sides of being a Sigma male, and if you've ever felt like an outsider in your own world, this one's going to hit a little too close to home. Number 1. The perpetual outsider syndrome. There's this strange moment that repeats throughout your life. You're standing in a room full of people, maybe a party, a meeting, or a family gathering. Everyone's laughing, connecting, sharing inside jokes. And though you're physically there, you're mentally miles away. It's not that you dislike people, far from it. You just feel out of sync, like you're watching the world through a glass wall. Others seem to blend effortlessly into the rhythm of social life, while you're constantly aware that your wavelength doesn't match theirs. They get excited about things that barely move you. They bond over surface-level topics that feel hollow to you. They obey social rules that seem utterly pointless in your mind. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. But that privilege comes at a price, the isolation of existing in a world that wasn't designed for your kind of mind. And that outsider feeling doesn't fade with success or age. You can be the most accomplished person in the room, admired, respected, even loved, and still feel like you're observing from the sidelines. It's not about loneliness. It's about disconnection. That haunting sense that no matter how surrounded you are, nobody truly speaks your inner language." Number 2. The struggle to find those who truly understand you. For most people, making friends seems simple. They meet someone, share a few laughs, bond over hobbies, and suddenly, it's a friendship. But for you, that process feels hollow, exhausting, even. You can socialize, smile, talk politely, but genuine connection? That's rare. It's not that you're being difficult or distant. It's that your depth makes shallow interaction unbearable. You crave authenticity, real thought, and meaningful dialogue. You think in layers, in patterns, while others move through emotion and social instinct. You value truth, they value comfort. You need depth, they need approval. It's not arrogance. It's awareness. You see the mechanics of the world too clearly to pretend it's simple. As Friedrich Nietzsche once observed, in individuals, insanity is rare, but in groups, it is the rule. You see the patterns that most ignore, and that clarity isolates you. You're not searching for someone who agrees with everything you say. You're searching for someone who gets how you think. Someone who doesn't just hear your words, but feels your logic. Those people are rare. And because of that, you collect acquaintances, not soul-level connections. The handful of people who do understand you, they become sacred, irreplaceable, because finding them again might take a lifetime. Number 3, you carry everything alone. When most people face hardship, they immediately reach out. They call a friend, vent online, or lean on family for support. Their pain gets shared, spread thin across many shoulders, making it easier to bear. But not you. When life hits hard, when you lose something, someone, or a piece of yourself, your first instinct isn't to call anyone. It's to withdraw, to disappear into your own mind and deal with it internally. It's not pride. It's not even about appearing strong. It's simply that sharing your pain has never felt natural or helpful. You've always believed that your problems are yours to solve, that opening up would only burden others. And for a while, that mindset works, until you realize that carrying everything alone takes a toll. While others have a network to distribute their pain, you carry all of yours by hand. The exhaustion isn't just from the challenges themselves. It's from the silence that surrounds them. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action." And yes, struggle can make you stronger. But even strength has limits. When you've spent years being your own anchor, even the strongest resolve begins to crack. Yet by that point, your walls are so high that letting someone in feels more dangerous than staying alone. Number 4. You give everything but rarely receive the same. Here's something most Sigma males eventually notice. When people realize you're dependable, they start leaning on you. They come to you with their chaos, their problems, their heartbreaks, their crises, because they know you'll listen calmly, think rationally, and offer genuine help. You become their emotional anchor, the quiet one they call when their world is falling apart. And you show up every time. You listen, you guide, you sacrifice your peace to help them find theirs, because you believe in loyalty and depth. You help not for praise, but because it feels right. But here's the dark truth. Very few will ever do the same for you. When you start to crumble, when you need someone to hear your silence, the world suddenly goes quiet. People are used to you being strong, so they assume you always are. They never think to ask if you're okay, because you've built the image of someone who doesn't need saving. And so you keep showing up for others, while no one ever really shows up for you. But here's the dark twist. When your life finally starts to crumble, where are all those people? The same ones who leaned on your strength, who turned to you for guidance, suddenly disappear when it's your turn to fall. The reciprocity you once hoped for never quite arrives. Now they're busy, they're overwhelmed, they're dealing with their own stuff. Or maybe they simply don't know how to show up for someone who's always been the rock, the one who never breaks. As author Cheryl Strayed once wrote, "You get the life you're brave enough to ask for. But when you've spent your whole life being the strong one, asking for help feels like breaking character. So you don't ask. You just keep standing tall even when it hurts. And that quiet refusal, that silent endurance, deepens the loneliness. You're surrounded by people who would swear you're a great friend. Yet you know the truth. The connection only flows one way. You pour out and they take." Number 5. People put you on a pedestal you never asked for. There's something about your calm, grounded energy that makes people project their ideals onto you. They see you staying composed when others panic, focused when others lose control, and they start to believe you're something more, a symbol of strength, a role model for control. You never asked to be anyone's inspiration, yet suddenly, you've become one. They treat you like proof that emotional mastery is possible, their measuring stick for self-discipline. But here's the cruel irony. That pedestal they put you on feels more like a cage, because now you can't afford to be human. You can't show weakness without letting someone down. You can't talk about your pain without shattering their perfect image of you. They don't see you anymore, they see a concept, a statue carved from their expectations. And when you finally crack under the weight of it all, their disappointment cuts deeper than any insult. They never wanted your truth. They wanted your perfection. Philosopher Alan Watts once said, "The only way to make sense of change is to plunge into it." But when people have frozen you in their minds as this unchanging symbol of composure, even your evolution feels like betrayal. So you perform strength even while breaking inside, smiling through storms you can barely survive. Number 6. The lone wolf has no safety net. People romanticize the lone wolf, the independent one, the quiet rebel who walks alone. But what they don't talk about is the cost. You've seen how the world really operates, how people form alliances not from loyalty, but from convenience. Friendships built on favors. Networks designed like unspoken contracts. Connections made not from the heart, but from the calculation of mutual benefit. And so you walked away from it all. You refused to play politics. You don't collect contacts like trading cards or maintain strategic friendships. You chose authenticity over advantage, and that's your freedom. You move faster. You think clearer. You don't waste time maintaining fake connections that drain your soul. You're not entangled in webs of manipulation or surrounded by people who smile to your face and scheme behind your back. But here's the bitter side of that purity. When life demands connections, when doors only open for those who know someone, your independence becomes isolation. The same society that pushed you to be self-reliant won't reward you for it. In a world that runs on politics and favors, integrity often comes with a high price. The lone wolf's path protects your soul, but it leaves you exposed when the pack runs the world. You understand the game. You just refuse to play it. But that refusal comes with a cost, because authenticity doesn't always pay in a system built on performance. Number 7. The paralysis of overthinking everything. While most people see something they want and chase it without hesitation, your mind doesn't work that way. For you, every decision becomes a deep dive, a labyrinth of thoughts, possibilities, and what-ifs. You want to start a side hustle? Great. But first, you'll research every business model, read every article about common mistakes, watch countless YouTube videos, and build the perfect plan before taking step 1. You want to buy something for yourself? Sure. But you'll spend hours comparing options, reading reviews, questioning if it's really worth it, if it aligns with your values, or if it's just another impulse. Within days, you've become an expert, knowing more about the thing you're planning to do than the people already doing it. You understand it inside out. But here's the trap. Knowledge doesn't always lead to movement. Sometimes it becomes a cage made of your own brilliance. You overthink every step, polish every plan, and wait for the perfect moment that never actually arrives. Meanwhile, people with half your intelligence and none of your hesitation are already in motion. Failing, learning, adapting, evolving. They're building momentum while you're still stuck inside your mind, perfecting blueprints instead of taking action. Your brain whispers that caution is wisdom, but often that so-called wisdom is just fear in disguise. Fear of being imperfect, fear of failing, fear of losing control. And before you know it, you've built walls of logic around yourself, strong, safe, and utterly still. The stillness feels like discipline, but it's really resistance pretending to be reason. So here's the truth. Progress doesn't come from certainty. It comes from movement. Start before you're ready, act before it's perfect, and grow while you go. If this spoke to you, don't just sit with it, move with it. And before you go, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Epic Persona, because the next episode will show you how to break that mental resistance and finally turn knowledge into power.